Now you're back because obviously you've got some work to do in the Sunshine State over the next 4 days.
Right. 4 shows, 4 days.
Okay, can you do that in like Rhode Island? Like, hey, I'm coming to Rhode Island, everybody. We got 4 shows coming up.
Yeah, I don't know that you could get 4 shows in Rhode Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just fit them all in there. You never have to stretch it out.
And then,
Yeah, then you'd have to actually get a boat and do one out in the water. What about starting in Maine and taking a boat cruise and go all the way down to Florida?
Yeah.
And do, where the boat comes in and we dock and we do a concert, and then we go down a little farther and do another concert. Well, as soon as I'm gonna tweet that to myself.
As a reminder.
You sure you got that envelope all the way up in there?
I just cut my finger.
Okay.
But let's say, Mark, I could bring a time machine into this room right now.
Yes.
And you step inside, you put the year into the time machine and the date, kind of like Back to the Future.
Right.
Which moment in your life would you like to travel back to? Either to fix something or relive something because it was that good.
That's a good question in envelope 1.
Yeah.
That's been in there. You know what I'm going to do for you, Jayar? And this is going to be a one-time trip for me.
Okay.
I'm going to go 85.
The Sticks were just tearing it up at that time.
Oh, it's crazy. I was learning how to sing falsetto in the car. I just learned how to drive with one arm out the window and one on the wheel. You know what I mean? How to drive, but drive cool.
Right.
In my Mazda R. No, back then it was my Ford Fiesta. Fully loaded.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I played baseball, and I was a pitcher. And we made it to the state tournament. And we were playing in the championship game. And my grandpa came to watch. And anyway, I remember it was the last out of the game, and I pitched, and the guy swung and he missed, and we won the game, and everybody came out, and we had a big celebration and everything, and I just remember looking over at my grandpa, and he was about the happiest man in the world. That made me realize that no matter what happens from here on out, things are going to turn out well. You just work hard and put in the time and effort, and good things can happen. So that was a good lesson for me. I was adopted when I was 2 weeks old. And so I realized that this is deep, but I realized that my birth mom, who I've never met, could have very easily had an abortion and I wouldn't even be here.
Right.
So even at the stuff that I didn't do well, and I was like, man, I'd like to have that back. Still, I get up the next morning and I go, I'm grateful at least that I'm here. Right. And I got the chance and the opportunity, so I take everything.
The specific moment in your career that is the most memorable moment where you looked out at an audience and you basically took a snapshot in your mind, but the caption in your mind read, I cannot believe I get to do this for a living.
I thought you were going to say when I took a snapshot in my mind, and then in my mind I was saying to myself, why are they throwing things at me?
How do I get out of here?
And why does it hurt like that? This is not what I imagined. You know what? I think for me, of all things, was when I first went to Nashville. I tried to make it in the music business, and I was going nowhere fast. And I had given my parents a tour of Nashville, and we stopped at the Ryman Auditorium, and I showed my parents, and my dad put his arm around me and said, is this where my son's going to play someday? And I was like, Dad, it's probably never going to happen because you got to really make it to play there. And then, but he was proud of me, had his arm around me thinking, hey, someday I'm going to play there. And then I got to be a youth director, and I was writing songs at the church, and I'm doing my own concerts there, and somebody said, hey, your shows are getting too big from the church. You might have once you rent the Ryman Auditorium and we'll go there. And they were kidding, and I didn't know it, so I rented it out. And it cost $20,000 to rent that place. And so I did concerts in every high school and every church in Nashville, and sold my CD and gave them a free ticket to my show to come to it and put on the show. The record company at first was like, no thanks, we're not. But then it started, we sold all the tickets. And I remember that the youth minister I worked with walked out, and he said, we're here tonight because there's a kid from Kansas who had a dream, and he surrounded himself here in Nashville with people who are just crazy enough to believe it might come true. Welcome to Mark Schultz at the Ryman. Stage opened up and the curtains, and there were 2,500 people. It was packed out. I had a great band. Amy Grant's band, this is 10 years ago, was playing for me. And my parents were sitting on the front row of the balcony of the packed out Ryman. And I had tears in my eyes, and I'd take that picture and to say, I wanted to take a chance and come to Nashville, and I knew that if I didn't take that shot at it, then I'd get to be 80 years old and look back and go, you know what? I didn't give it my best shot to do what I think I was meant to do. Right. And at that moment, I knew I gave it my best shot, and whether I failed or I succeeded, I knew that I did what I came to do.
Afternoons with Jayar. If you've listened once, you are officially one of Jayar's 12 listeners. Oh, and how he appreciates each one of the 12. Jayar. Afternoons on the Joy FM.